from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to make another block. This is the second video and we are following the book by Mimi Dietrich. Right here, A Quilter's Diary, written in stitches. I'm going to try to put the link to buy the book. I am making the flag. You do not need to make the flag if you don't want to. You can actually make a state block. You can applique a block. It doesn't make any difference. You can do any blocks you want. I myself want to just do the United States. I don't want to do a state block for where I was born or anything. And I am making my type of flag. Now, it's got the 3 colors, but it's made differently. I'm going to show you what I'm using and how I'm going to, I'll end up trimming them down because, as I said before, all these blocks are not the same size. We're either going to add to them, subtract from them, or whatever. I do not know the size of my quilt yet because I'm just getting into it, so you can make it any size you want. You can make them all teeny weeny little 4-inch, 6-inch blocks and make a pillow out of it. Doesn't make any difference. It's going to be your story, so you get to decide how you want to make this quilt, this table runner, this wall hanging, anything you want to do. You don't even have to do any of it. You can just follow along and watch and enjoy it while you're doing something else, some other sewing. All right, let me show you what I've got here on the table. Alrighty, so here are my colors. The white is a solid white. The red has a little bit of glitter in it, and then the blue is with the stars. So this is my blue that I'm going to use. I didn't have a big enough piece. This is a scrap now. Remember, I'm just using all scraps. So I'm going to take these two and connect them. Now, this size, let me tell you what it is because I honestly do not know. I just took my one piece. This was one long piece. So it is measuring out at a little over 4.5. And it is a little less than 2.5, probably 2 3/4. All right, so that's what I'm using. These white and red, they measure out 2 1/4 wide. And let me see how long they are because I just took what I had in the way of strips. So they are 12 1/4 inch strips. Okay, I have 3 white, 4 red. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to have a red one on the top. Then I'm going to put a white one. Then a red one. A white one. A red one. A white one. And then a red one. Well, it'll fall off the table because I didn't have enough room. I didn't put it up here high enough. So let's just do this. Okay. That's the way it's going to be. So this is the way it's going to be. And then I'm going to take these here and put them up here. Either that way. That's probably what I'm going to do, like that. So that's going to be my flag. I do not know how large this is going to be. Like I said, I don't know the size yet. Now, I did want to say to you, remember when I was teaching you how to find your 1/4 inch and I showed you on your machine? Let's go over here and I'm going to show you real quick just to give you a refresher, or if you didn't see the video, now you'll know it for this one. Alrighty, so this is what I showed you the last time. This here, which is the width, is what controls the needle moving to the right and the left. Now, I realize mine is digital, but you probably have a dial for your width on your sewing machine. If you decrease your width, so I'm going to go down. Decreasing means my needle moved to the left. So let's take a look at the needle. Can you tell that it is not directly in the middle? It should be here in the middle. This is the middle of my foot right here. It should be lined up with that little piece right there, but it is over to the left. I'm going to move it back to the right so that you can see it move. See how the needle is moving? That's 3.5. That is straight up and down. If I want to go to the right, I increase my width and it will move my needle to the right. If you have a dial on your machine, that's how you turn it to the left or the right. That's how you get your 1/4 inch. That is the way one way to measure your 1/4 inch to get it correctly. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up, along with people do not realize they can change their width and either move their needle to the right or the left, doesn't mean you don't have the capability if you don't have a dial. I have an actual sewing machine, a FOF machine, that literally has a button that if I push it, it moves my needle to the right or it moves my needle to the left. Now, On this machine, I also have a button that will move it to the left, and it does a straight stitch with a reverse, or it does a straight stitch and the locking mechanism just goes up and down. That is my number 01 and 02 on this machine, but it does it different ways. So after I got done doing my video, I pulled out my actual manual for this and found out that there are other ways to actually figure out the 1/4 inch. So I was quite surprised that there's even more ways beyond the ones that I actually showed y'all. Those that I showed you, you use it on a regular sewing machine, not a computerized specific sewing machine. So here, in addition to those that I taught in my other video, I find out that I can have my own 1/4 inch shown. And the reason, like for example, right now, if I leave my machine set up just the way it is, so that it is a straight stitch, in order for me to get a 1/4 inch, I cannot put my fabric next to my foot right here. Okay? I actually have to have my fabric in my foot in here, and it gets barely doesn't even get grabbed by the foot down here, the feed dog. If I want both my feed dogs on my fabric, I have to move my needle to the left in order to have it lined up by the foot here. That's just one of the ways of the 3 that I got to do it. But I am so used to looking at it and feeding it through this foot right here, on this side right here, that's become a habit. So I'm not going to change mine, but you guys need to find your 1/4 inch if that's very important for you. Otherwise, you need to stitch all of these the same way. Well, actually, you wouldn't even need to do that, because when you think about it, since our blocks aren't even all the same size, it really doesn't make a difference whether you're a scant 1/4 inch, a 1/4 inch, because we're not going to be doing anything other than evening them up when we're finished. If we're even going to do that, we don't have to sew a quilt with every single block being the exact same size. If you've never made a quilt that was not the exact same size, this is going to be your opportunity to do that, because we can have a long quilt, a long block, and a short block next to it, or one block and a half of a block next to one block. So on the right hand side it would be an entire block plus a smaller block, and on the left it would be a whole entire block. I'll show you when we get to that what I'm talking about for layout wise, but I've only got these 2. I don't want to be pulling blocks off the wall here, but I'll give you an example when we get closer. So let's just go ahead, and I'm going to sew these red and white all together, and I'm just going to do them chain stitch. They're really, really easy, and then we'll be done with the actual block. And then I'm going to add the blue. So let's do the red and white first, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew 5. So I'm going to sew 3 of the red and 2 of the white. When I get those done, I'll attach the blue ones to find out how much I have to cut off my red and white one. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Okay, so I'm using a 12-inch needle. I'm not going to put any pins on here. I don't feel like we need any. We're just going to take our time when we sew it. My length is 2.5. You can put yours down to 2 if you're more comfortable with that. I don't need to lock it in place. I'm just going with it. Now, I would tell you what all these colors represent, but when I do, I get choked up, so I do not want to do that. The first time I learned why the flag was the color it was, I don't recall how old I was. I was a child, I do recall that. But I literally just started crying. So I don't even want to go there because I get choked up all the time. Just like when I hear our song, I get choked up about that too, because I actually listen to it, and it's very heart-wrenching for me. And if you do not know about your own flag, then you need to learn about your flag and why it has the specific colors and the things that you have on it. Because it's not like somebody just chose some colors at a whim and created a flag. That's not the reason for your flag, for your country. And you should be proud of the flag that you have. All right, now these I will sew all together with the red one. So let me go ahead and do that first, so that I don't get anything confused. Now here is the top 2 that are going to have the blue attached to it. I tell you, I was laughing at the tail end of finishing that up. My foot pedals sounds like an old grumpy chair. Like you sat in it for so long and the wood starts creaking on you. And I do not know why it's making all those noises, to be truthful with you. It's just so funny. I haven't done a thing to it. It's in the same spot. It must have moved on the piece of floor. I have wood floors up here in the sewing room, and it must have shifted on the floor or something to make those noises. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew these blue with the stars already on them to represent the blue in my flag. Now I'm going to take these two here and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach my blue to them. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Now I haven't ironed any of these, by the way, just so you know. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to nestle my blue with my one I just did. So I'm going to finger press it to get it to nestle. And it's only for the bulkiness of the fabric. Hopefully everybody knows what I say when I say I'm nestling them. And now, of course, the sizes are going to be off, but I'm not worried about it. Because like I told you, these were scraps, these blue. They're not perfect for the size. So I lay this down on my table, and I want this to be even. So I'm taking my ruler, and I'm lining up the white right here with that, and then I'm slowly cutting. Whoops, I just moved with my hand. All right, I lined up the black and the white. There we go. And we'll turn it this way. And I'm going to do the same thing. And now what I want to do is I want to attach this to this. But first I'm going to trim the edge here. And I need a longer ruler because you always want to use a longer ruler. Let me get one. All right, here's my longer ruler. And I'm going to line it up across the bottom down here. And then this is the side, because remember now it's red on the top and red on the bottom. It doesn't make any difference. But this is where I want to put this, like that. So I haven't trimmed this off yet. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this, I'm going to attach that, and then I will trim this side here. So let's do that now. Hopefully I will not have an issue on the corner. I haven't yet, so. So this is what we have right here. So I'm going to match up the bottom, and it is all ironed, by the way. I'm going to go here to the bottom, try and square it up a little bit, and then just cut it like that. This is big enough for a piece of scrap. I'm setting it aside, and there is my flag. And yes, it does seem like it's too long, but that's fine. That's going to be my flag. Now I could take off the bottom two rows and just have it like that, or I can leave the two bottom rows, and I'll wait and I'll make that decision when it comes time to put it into the quilt, because I actually like it both ways. But I will wait and see what it looks like, and if I need to, I'll take off the bottom two rows. All right, and in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, so that I don't forget, because I'm pretty sure by the time I get ready to put this together, I'm going to forget, I'm going to put a little post-it down here, and I'm going to write right on here. I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to write, should I take off these two rows? Okay, so that is it. Why don't you guys vote for me? Heck, I'd love to hear what your opinion is. You think I ought to take the two off? Here, let me fold it again so you can see it. Off and just leave these like that. You think it would look better that way? Make a comment. Or do you think that I should go ahead and keep them all? You tell me. All right, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want, if you haven't already, so that you can get some more notices. Click on that little bell, you'll get the notifications, and then I'll see y'all next time for the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye. Don't forget to tell me whether to take those two rows off or not.